Hi, everyone. Welcome back to A Tribe Called Dhillon podcast. I'm Angie Dhillon.
And I'm Rose Dhillon.
And I'm Alvin Dhillon.
Hope you had a great week. I just wanted to say thank you once again. Our digital YouTube family is growing. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. And if you're new to our channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please. And please feel free to check us out on all of our social channels. And I think you're going to start to realize that we have something in common. We're just trying to make the world a little bit of a better place. So with that said, please don't mind the fruits. We're taping here. We're doing some back-to-back episodes and I'm hungry and I got to eat. But the good news is I'm going to just start off with my win of the week. The good news is I am really proud to say that I've cut back on my sugar, refined sugar, I must say. And I have gone to natural sugar, which is fruits and blueberries and strawberries. It's that time of year, when blueberries are now coming, or blueberries are still in, but strawberries are going out. And I managed to get my hands on some ripe strawberries. So it's going to be an eat and talk show. My apologies, but that's my win. Rose.
All right. So my win is actually, I got my phone again. I had a really interesting win. I guess I call her an acquaintance. And we were talking and she said to me, tell me a little bit more about your podcast. And I was like, okay, what do you want to know? What does it stand for? So I gave her the lowdown. I'm really good at writing the lowdown and Angie's really good at speaking. So I asked Ange to voice message me to explain what I can say to my friend about the podcast. And I thought it was so profound, Ange, that I'm just going to share it as my win.
Oh, yeah.
You ready?
I said something okay. I don't even remember what I said.
I hope you did too.
But it is strange when
we came up with our motto, elevate, motivate, and inspire. It's pretty simple. And it's the philosophy that we have with each other as siblings. When you elevate yourself, elevate your life and everything that you do. Let's do this again. When you elevate yourself, you actually motivate others to do the same. And when you motivate others to do the same, that's how we inspire change. And that's how change comes. It starts off by you standing in your conviction and elevating yourself. And with that belief, you can motivate others. And then that's how we inspire global change. And that's why we came up with our motto.
So she answered the question and I was like, that was beautiful. And I wanted to share that with our audience.
Thanks, Rose. I forgot that I said that because we do a lot of voice chats back and forth. But you're right. I do get people that ask us, how did you guys come up with your motto, which is elevate, motivate, inspire? And that's what it is. I just think it has to start when you elevate yourself, and other people can see that. It motivates them to want to be better. Yeah. And then when they're motivated, that's how we inspire change amongst others. And that's why we decided we call it EMI. It also kind of connects to who am I? When we say EMI, who am I? So it's all about elevate, motivate, inspire.
Very nice, Angie. Thank you very much for my win.
Thanks. And
well done.
Thanks, Al, your win.
My win's, I guess, similar to something like that. I did another psychedelic a few weeks ago, and I'm in that phase right now where I'm getting the downloads and I'm learning about myself and learning how I go back to revert to old patterns, like the sugar, like you were saying. I have a problem with eating sugar late at night, like literally an hour before I go to sleep, and then waking up with a headache and doing the same cycle the next day. So I catch it, but I just was not able to change it. I've somehow, after doing the psychedelic, I've got a little bit more, my inner strength has gone up a little bit. The volume turned up and it's like, hey, we're not going to do that today, but you still want the sugar. So I'm eating the sugar by like 5 o'clock. If I have to, and then I'm eating a yogurt or fruits late at night before I go to sleep, because I still, for some reason, have this craving.
It's a
but
pattern,
I'm feeding it. I'm feeding it with at least some natural sugar. So I'm getting the yogurt kind of replaces the 5-cent candies because it's sweet and sour. So I eat that, and it's just enough to get something in your mouth, and I brush my teeth and go to sleep.
Good for you.
But I've been trying to be actively on that because I know what it does for the next day, and the sugar is starting to actually be harder to digest now. So, but I asked for that. I told the universe a year ago, I said, the only way I'll stop is if you make this sugar so problematic for me to the point where I'm physically getting ill. And that's exactly what's happening now. So it's making me slowly reduce it.
Do you remember when those 5-cent candies used to be 2-cent candies?
They've never been 2 cents.
Oh, yeah. Angela wasn't around then.
Oh, Al was around.
It was like the 1960s.
Those Coke bottles used to be like 2 cents.
No,
since the 1990s, they were
2 cents. They were 2-cent candies. Now they're 5 cents.
I've never heard 2 cents.
But with that said, would you like a strawberry or a blueberry?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Anyhow, today we're really excited. We know at least here in North America, I don't know what it's like for other continents and other countries, but September Usually the parents in September and January are really excited because the kids go back to school. You know, they can go back, get a little bit of their life. They can go and do things. But now with the nature of remote learning, we know that mature students are going to school as well. Rose and I also, I went to school when I was in my youth, when I was younger, but I also have gone back now that we were older, and we probably will be doing ongoing education. And I just thought it's very timely now with the month of September, back to school. Let's do a back to school basic school edition where we tell you about our time in school. We want to give you some tips to prepare you for the school year, and so that you have a successful and productive year. So whether you're a child, whether you're a teenager, whether you are a graduate student or you're a mature student, this episode is for you, because we're going to give you some tips on how to navigate the school year with a bang. So here we go, the tribe. Okay. What's the most important back to school tip you have for students?
So I guess that question has got to be more specific, right? Because like when you're going back to school in high school, you just like, God, high school was tough.
High school sucked.
So when you were going to college, I mean, I guess it's just as tough, come to think of it now. But college is a little bit more different because you don't probably know anybody. The school is much bigger. Class times start differently. There's no specific schedule. So I guess if you're going to high school, hang in there. That's all I got to say. And if you're going to college, put your best foot forward, take as many classes and learn as much as you can. And don't put yourself in a little cubby hole or bucket or whatever. Pigeonhole. That's it. Sorry. And just take that one course or hang out with those same people. You know, if you're in band camp, try to hang out with the piano players or maybe with the lacrosse team. Just be diverse when you get to college.
Mm-hmm. Al, what's your advice? So Al, maybe I'm going to narrow it down. So from pre-K or, even preschool or kindergarten to grade 12, let's go K to 12, grade 12. What's your advice to those students?
Stay organized. What I did and myself, which I saw a lot of students not doing, for each class, I always had a separate binder. I don't know what they do in school now, if they're using just computers or if they're actually writing notes, but I used to handwrite my notes, but I always had a separate complete binder for each topic. So your stuff was always like easy to maintain. You go to one class, you're pulling out that one binder. I used to carry those 5-star binders, a zipper. So you had all your supplies in that one binder. So if you didn't have your backpack, you could put it all in there. But I used to see people taking one binder and using it for 4 courses, and it would overflow. Like you can't put everything in one binder. So they would have some of their stuff in paper and another, all spread throughout. And I'd be like, you're creating so much more work for yourself because now you're not organized. You're looking for the information. The information, that data should always be stored easily accessible.
And I think Al you can transfer that to your laptop, because I'm pretty confident most kids are actually using the iPads and laptops now. Yeah. You can do that where you have folders on your desktop.
I've seen, folder structure, how people save. Everybody saves everything to their desktop, but they'll never like go and organize stuff like, hey, I'm going to be saving a bunch of these files. I'm not going to have individually saved all over my desktop, because then you just have a gigantic desktop. You have to clean it up and I was actually helping a coworker do that, saying how to stay organized, because you shouldn't be spending too much time looking for the information. It should be I know where it is. I got to go find it. Not like, where is it again? Oh, or it's in this. You're wasting too much thinking time on that. Mm-hmm. So people don't understand that's energy being wasted. It should be quick, efficient, get right to the learning.
Okay, that's really good. I was going to say the same thing. I think this applies, whether you're a teenager, you're a young child, you're a mature student going back, you've got a family, you're juggling the work-life balance, stay organized. Yeah. That is the key, because especially with the nature of the world today, there's so much information coming at us, and, you can easily get bombarded. And my advice to you would be on a Sunday night, plan out. I'm a big believer in planning things out mentally and then writing things down. I still write my reminders down on a whiteboard, and then every week I wash it off and I redo it. So my advice would be get a whiteboard. Like they cost anywhere between $15 to $25 from Staples, but write out your week, like from Sunday to Sunday, like what classes on a Monday, from what time. When you visually write it down, you can actually start to plan, and it takes a little bit of the anxiety and the stress away. And another big thing that I will say is, and regardless, don't always rely on your parents to do this, but meal prep. You can start to learn today when you watch these baking shows and cooking shows. You've got these young kids that are making these amazing meals. So go ahead and meal prep and know that what you want to eat. And especially with extracurricular activities now, if you're going to be running around and you're going to get hungry, you want to have your granola bars and your snacks or your apple and your treats in your bag. So plan out your week. And, speak to your parents about it. If you're struggling and you need some help, just say, hey, mom and dad, this is what I have. These are my courses. These are my extracurricular activities. Because you have to remember, a lot of times parents are busy as well. They're at work. They're rushing home from work to pick up their children from school. They got to have a life too. Then, in the evenings, they're at swimming or basketball or hockey or soccer. So, we want to make sure that we help you and your kids navigate through the year successfully. But the biggest advice that I have is from kindergarten to grade 12. Those are the formative years, right? Those are the years where there's bullying, there's cyberbullying now, there's peer pressure. It's the, you want to fit in, you don't fit in. People don't like you. People bully you for whatever reason. I want you to just know that those years, they're going to test you. They're going to push you, and you're going to really have to find your own voice. And today, children have so much power in speaking up. And I want you to know, if there are people being mean to you, go to the principal and talk about it. If you're being bullied, talk to your parents. Don't suffer in silence. That's the biggest advice I will say to you. And it's okay if the cool kids don't want to be your friends. And I want you to know that. And it's okay if you don't have any friends, because I didn't have any friends up to 2 years ago, and I'm in my 40s. So, and I turned out okay. So I just want you to know you're not alone when you go to those classes and you feel sometimes, I don't have any friends. I don't connect with anybody here. Nobody gets me. No one understands me. And I want you to know it's okay to feel like that, because you're different, and different is good.
But also I'm going to add to that, also don't, think because I've had one bad experience, like I made a few friends at the last school and didn't work out, still try putting yourself out there, right? Like that's the one thing Ange and I, we didn't know, that no one had told us that you could just put yourself out there and not just try to be friends with the cool kids. Like maybe if we tried to be friends with the band camp kids, like maybe if we went and joined the piano lesson, like maybe we would have made friends with the kids at work. But I think you and I were more drawn to wanting to be cool. So we wanted to be with the cool kids, but not to say that the other kids are nerdy, but they might've been better friends now that I think back to it.
Yeah. And the thing is, I didn't care to be cool because I didn't know what cool was. I mean, I think we had those cliques in high school. I think I was a relatively good student. I was on student council. I thought I was a good kid. I was nice to everybody, but I know we had those cool kids, but those cool kids were mean kids and mean girls. And I never wanted to be like them. So I didn't gravitate towards that, but I did encounter bullying, as I've spoken about that before. And I didn't understand it. I didn't speak about it. I didn't voice how I was feeling. Perhaps my parents could have taken me out of that school. Yeah. They could have gone to the principal. They could have maybe put me into a different school. So that's what I want to empower children. And I also want to empower parents is like, listen to your kids and do the weekly pulse checks, like check in and ask them, because kids are really good at hiding things, concealing things and covering up because they don't want to be embarrassed. Like there's nothing worse than your parent coming into school and talking to the principal, and then you get another student in trouble, and then that student calls you like, oh, you're a tattletailer. I just want you to know, I don't care. At the end of the day, mental health today is on the rise. A lot of mental health issues. Speak up and speak your truth. Do not suffer in silence. You can DM any one of us. We are here and we will raise it if we know you, but just don't suffer in silence and don't ever give up on yourself. Al, let's talk about when you were in high school. What kind of activities were you in, and did mom and dad have to take you? How did you juggle that?
When I was in high school, our parents worked quite often, so they were pretty much absentee most times. So I had pretty much free reign to do whatever I wanted. I liked high school, but it was also kind of like one of those things where like I couldn't wait till I was out of here and not have to see these people again. Because it was just kind of like, like you're saying, like the cool kids. Like I gotta say, like I don't think I was the coolest kid, but I don't think I kind of blended in with that crowd. I was okay. Like I didn't have an issue with a lot of people. I was pretty friendly. But I could see though how people treated other people. Like if you're a different ethnicity, or if you weren't one of the cool kids, like people were pretty mean to each other. And even if I think about myself, I probably was mean to some people too. Like because we make fun of each other. Everybody made fun of somebody. We all made fun of each other. If someone made fun of me, I made fun of somebody. And when you look back, sometimes now that might come across as bullying now, because you probably made fun of the person all the time, or they didn't want to be made fun of. But we were being made fun of at the same thing. So it was kind of like if someone made fun of me and I felt kind of embarrassed, like it's that energy. It has to go somewhere else. And in that moment, all you do is like, I got to equalize this. I got to make fun of somebody else now. And generally, I try not to pick on someone all the time. Is if you made fun of me once, I'm going to be making fun of you again. So it was like a good back and forth. But I definitely think that we were kind of meet to some people in elementary school and potentially high school.
Do either of you keep in touch with anybody from high school or elementary?
Yeah, I still have I call them like the day ones. I grew up with a few people that I still keep in touch with. I still have like one of my best friends is my bro. I grew up with him, Riz. He's still like my go-to. I still got a couple of buddies, but a lot of people just kind of fell to the side because they maybe went down a path where it's like I'm not connecting with them. They got married, they had kids. I didn't get married, I didn't have kids, so people get busy and you kind of grow apart, and now we're kind of just on our own path now.
Yeah, I didn't obviously keep in touch with anyone, but I would love to have gone to a high school reunion just to see what everybody's up to.
Yeah, I would have too. To see something. I think I have a different perspective now that we were all struggling as kids in high school. Everyone had their insecurities. Even the bullies are being bullied at home. Now that we know better, that's what's happening to them in school. So I think the intel that I have today and the knowledge that I understand that like even the kids that weren't like the kindest or whatever, they were all struggling. That I feel fine for like no ammo, no animosity towards anybody. Just wish all of them happiness and success in wherever their journey goes.
And I know today, nowadays, I'm not sure if we had these when we were going to school, but there's counselors on site now. So like speak to your counselors if you're having any issues or you want to speak to them. They really help guide you. For the grade 12 to grade 12, from kindergarten to grade 12, I really want you to focus on what you want to do and develop yourself. So a lot of times, if there's a piano or an instrument that you like or that you want to play, but you're put on the clarinet, speak up and advocate for yourself and say, I think I want to be a piano player, or tell your parents. A lot of times I find that in these extracurricular activities, our parents live vicariously through their children, and they put them in the activities that they think that they should have been in. And that's not necessarily what the kid wants to do. So talk to your kids and get them to try everything like soccer, football, baseball, dance, everything, you name it. But ask your kid at the end of the day, is this bringing enjoyment to you? Because if it's not bringing enjoyment and it's not a passion, then it's just becoming a chore for both you and the child to go there. But I just want for all of our young future leaders, like really start figuring out what you want to do, because the world is your oyster today and you have so much more access to technology than we did. So by the time you get to grade 12, you should really know what you want to be, and make sure you say that to your parents. That's my
I like that. And I was going to say that was something that a lot of people don't realize, that when you put your kids in activities that they don't want to do, and then you normalize putting them in things, they start to think it's normal to hate things they do. Like I can tell you, when I was in banking, it was the worst bank. I hated it so much, but I thought it was normal. My parents were like, yeah, you're supposed to hate your job. Everyone hates their job. I was like, oh. And it wasn't until like my first American boyfriend who was like, no, you're not supposed to hate. You're supposed to go to a job where you can shine and grow and learn. I was like, wait, what? Like that was like the eye-opening for me. I remember him telling me that, like, no, you're really good. Like you should think about fashion, or you should think about makeup. Like whenever we go places, people always compliment your dresses. You should think about, I was like, the first time I was like, this guy is so off the line. What is wrong with you? Like, but yeah, it really helped me then to start. It took a while, but it took me a while to be like, okay, I got to get out of banking. And then now like I never go back to banking, but I love my job today. I love working in sports entertainment. I love the technology. So it's really important that we don't let kids do things that they don't like doing, and then they normalize that, because then they grow up to be angry adults that hate their jobs and then don't realize that they should probably find a job that they enjoy doing. Thankfully, I'm grateful that I was able to pivot.
That's good, Rose. That's really good. Let's talk about really quickly before we go to remote learning and for mature students, and even a lot of our post-secondary students now that go on to university. You have the option of, now, whether you want to take your campus classes or whether you want to take remote learning. What was the coolest supply that you would love? Because our parents would take us like September or
August.
January, August, and you would go back to school shopping and you would buy things. I would always get the knockoff Crayolas. I never actually got proper crayons, but they were the cheaper versions. And remember those pencil crayons? Yep. Yeah. So what about you? What do you remember?
That wasn't my exciting of buying as much as the books and stuff. For me, high school was a fashion show. I was always like trying to stretch my dollar and then being like, okay, I have 14 new outfits. I got to stretch this all the way till the end. That was a long time. So I'd always find creative ways to like wear something like on a Monday and then like wait till the following Friday, so that maybe like 9 days have gone by, people have forgotten what I wore. I actually have this really funny story. This one girl, she was a year older than me. And I remember her saying, she's like, oh, I had the same shirt as you. Obviously, we all shop in the same mall before school. And I was like, oh, really? She's like, yeah. And then 2 weeks later, she calls me. She's like, can I borrow your sweater? And I'm thinking like, you own the same thing. But I didn't have the balls and courage to say anything to her because she was kind of a bully. So I let her borrow it. And then I found out after that, when she found out I owned it, she went and returned hers to keep her money and then borrowed mine because she only wears things once or twice and never wears it again.
What a smart girl, though.
Yeah.
She went and returned it, saved her money, and then borrowed it off you.
Yeah.
What a great transaction that was.
I don't know. She was also a gold digger.
That's what we call somebody got chooched out.
Totally got chooched out. Totally got chooched out.
I do. I reckon I remember that this clothing was exciting for me too, the wardrobe. Yep. What about you, Al? What got you excited?
That was always exciting though, getting new fresh gear.
Yep.
But even though mom guys had like kind of like a tighter budget, I would usually push it a little bit. But I generally would always go for like the name brand stuff. But as long as it was reasonably priced, like I'm not gonna go buy like something Tommy Hilfiger that's like $400. That's like the whole budget. Right. So you'd go buy whatever's on sale, try to maximize it, get like 10, 15 things out of it, or at least 10 things out of it. Mm-hmm. It was exciting, but there's always, I remember that the first day of school, you're always really anxious and nervous because you're worried about like, am I going to have class with any of my friends that I know of, or I have to sit in a class with all brand new people that I don't know? It was always that feeling of like I don't want to be like left out. Like I don't want to be the person like I'm in a class I've know anybody and I'm like, oh man, I got to make new friends with these people. And you couldn't wait to get out of that class to go meet your existing friends from elementary school again, just so you didn't feel like you were alone. But I think by grade 9 or 10, then you kind of became the regulars in the school, because when you're grade 8, 9, the grade 11, 12ers look like they're like 25 years old to you. Like they were huge. They were like 6 feet tall. And we were like looking at these people like these guys are grown adults. And then when you get to that point, you look back and you're like, oh my God, these people are still children, like, but they acted like they were adults.
Yeah. Well, I think, and like all of Canada, I'm not sure all kind of province of BC, 8 to 12 was very normal. But if you went to other places like that wasn't, they would break it up. Grade 8, grade 9, and 10 was one, and then 11 and 12 were separate. And I think it's because they understood that bullying aspect and that the grade 12 kids are far bigger, stronger than the grade 8 students. So I kind of think that we did kids a disservice here by putting them in all of that. And I also think that schools should all be uniforms.
We
should put everybody in uniform so you don't have to compare yourself. That's one way of getting that out. Now you just have to compare with how you're doing in actual school.
Yeah,
because I would say I wasted way too much time on that nonsense.
Clothing, I get it, because you guys used to buy me a lot of like the cool clothes for me to wear. And I used to see like how many of the girls would just be like, wow, you're wearing Armani. And I'm just like, this thing looks so gay on me. Like I can't even wear it. Was like the tightest looking thing. I've never worn it. Like this looks, I feel gay.
Yeah. We didn't want you to go through what we went through.
Yeah, it's so true, because there's a 10-year gap between Alvin and I. So when I was 20, I obviously had a part-time job while I was in school, and my brother was 10. So he'd have all the Jordans, all the Nike stuff, the
cool
sweatshirts.
Yeah, we spoiled you a lot, Alvin. You're welcome.
And you guys, but the thing is, I didn't know that's what was cool, but you guys would make me like, no, we have to put streaks in your hair. I'm like, what is this?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm like 12 years old. I'm like, what the hell is streaks? And then I was like, I didn't like it at all until you go to school and all the girls want to touch your hair. They want to be your best friend. And I'm like, okay, I see
Thank
how
God
this
for
works.
my sisters.
I'm like, as long as I don't have to pay for this, we'll be okay.
So true. And you know, in private schools, they have uniforms. And I really like that. I'm a big believer
public
in that.
schools, every school should have a uniform until you're 18 graduated. There's no need for kids. I know they say, oh, it's kids' individuality. It shows their creativity. They can show creativity in sewing class by sewing a dress and sewing. They don't need to be wearing that.
Or outside of school. They can
I think when you're at school, when you're in school, you should be focused on education. It's not a fashion show. And I know they always say that, you know, the children are restricted to their freedom of expression.
No.
You can express yourself after 3:30. Afterwards on the weekends.
There's a new policy. I don't know if it's in the States or Canada. They're going to start rolling it out, which I'm totally supporting, is no cell phone use during class time.
Yes.
Because I remember when we were in high school near the end where we started getting access to the cell phones, because it was like the coolest thing ever. We didn't want to pay attention. We all either sit there just trying to text each other, play games on our phone just because it was the cool thing to do, and you were not paying attention. You were just like just going through the motions. And I think that's a big thing, a distraction, or kids aren't able to sit there because they think like there's so much more going on their phone. They have to talk to their friends, and they need to take that away.
Hats off to teachers today, because everyone, it's like almost every young child has a cell phone today. Okay, let's talk about remote learning for mature students. How can they stay? I'm going to be taking courses in actually 2 weeks. So I'm going to be starting some school. I'll tell you about my program once I'm done with it. But Rose, like you're doing your MBA now. How do you stay organized with remote learning?
I'll tell you, if it wasn't for remote learning, there's no way I would have gone back to school. Given my schedule with my day job and how demanding it is, there was no way that I would have the energy after work to get in my car, drive, and sit somewhere. Like, no. So for me, that's why I went for this school called Western Governors University, because it's all remote and it's all competency based. So like some courses you might spend 5 or 6 weeks on grasping, but some courses you might spend 2 or 3 weeks on. So, and it's one at a time. They don't give you, like, back in the day, they 4 courses per semester. Now they're like, they open one course. Once you finish that course, they give you the second, which is so much better. That is the way that we should have people learn, is at one at a time. And then you can put your
focus on one. All your energy goes into one, so you can learn, like not just memorize the stuff, actually learn it and then move on to the next one.
But yeah, when I was in university, I would take sometimes
Me too, 4 courses.
3 to 4 courses simultaneously, and you have a life and you're working full time. That was a really difficult.
I mean, I will still say, because I'm trying to get a 2-year program done in 1 year. It's I don't have a life, and I spend hours. Al can
like a mad woman. Just like on a
so I go to bed at midnight and wake up at 8, and it's the same thing every day. But it's because I just wanted 2024 was a year of school. I had set that to I will go hard with all this PMP, the MBA, and everything, and then 2025 is the physical, where I will start, really taking my body into the next level I want to do. But yeah, I think remote learning is just so great. So it's available to all of us, so that you can just continue your learning journey. You don't have to, not be able to do it. That's not an excuse anymore. Yeah.
I want to talk about something that I think is really important for all ages: meal prepping. How important do you think meal prepping is?
Okay, so I think maybe here in Canada is, but I know in America, and because of the line of work I work with a lot of universities, and we do a lot of the corporate cafes. They have great meals. Like, you do not need to meal prep if you are going to a college or university in America. Like, we have 20 stations for these kids. There are salad bars. There are your breakfast things. Yes, there's bad food too. So if you're someone like, I don't have willpower, and if I walk into that cafe and I see all the burgers, I won't be able to say no, then maybe, for you, meal prepping is right. But if you're somebody who's like, I'm committed to my healthy eating, they have yogurt stations. They have salad stations. There's so much. And the food is really reasonably priced at these universities, that if you look at the math of how much you'd buy and do your meal prepping, not worth it.
Okay.
I'd like to go on site one day to one of these campuses. Just go in there, let's see how it's like the college life and whatnot.
Yeah.
See what's up.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's quickly, before we start to close the time here, cyberbullying is a big thing.
Yeah.
What's our take on this right now for kids? Like, here's my thing, and maybe it's because I'm a dinosaur and I don't understand this here. So, and walk me through it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to learn. So, cyberbullying is when you go online and you're in these chats, right? And chats isn't, and you're allowing someone to bully you in that chat. Can't you just exit out and don't go in that?
It's not just chat. It's just like me posting nonsense about you online now, spreading rumors, talking smack. Now, everybody in that atmosphere knows this story of you that is not true.
Angie, we went through cyberbullying. Remember when some of our posts people commented on some really nasty comments, and then we're like, nope, you can go.
You're right.
We deleted it, but not everyone is brave of us.
See, thank you. That's why, you have to have siblings. You learn perspective. I'm thinking you go into those chat rooms and you're bullying. You can exit out.
That's a form too.
Oh, that makes
anywhere where it's not to your face, it's online bullying.
That really makes sense. What's our take on this?
I call it coward bullying. I don't call it cyberbullying, because you only have the guts to do it on the internet. You got the guts to say it to that person's face. That's a whole different ball game. So I don't call it cyberbullying. I call it coward bullying. Right.
And if you are being bullied, or someone, go and get help. Talk about this. This stuff has to stop. I completely agree. What's our advice for kids making new friends at a school? Let's say they, for whatever reason, we used to have our friends, their parents would move to a new district or to a new city or location, and it would be so difficult because you would lose connection with your friends. I remember losing some really good friendships when I was younger. What's our take on that? And today kids can stay connected with their phones and social media, but how do you have to now navigate your courses or your school schedule without your best friend or your BFF?
I think the things that are important to you, the things that you enjoy doing, right? Like if you really like soccer, like we talked about sports earlier, or whatever, join that league, join those, and that's how you'll probably make like-minded friends.
Or you can also tell your friend here, let's say, hey, on a weekend, we'll do a sleepover, or you stay connected. Or if they're not too far away, if it's like a nearby school district, then you guys can be in the same extracurricular activities on the weekends or after school hours.
As I get older, I'm really understanding the power of sports and what it does to the human psyche. After 20 years, I highly recommend people putting their kids into sports. I always just say like, oh man, your whole weekends are taken up taking your kids to sport. But if I had a kid, whatever sport they like, I would put them in it, because you reap the benefits like 20 years later. Is when you have when you've been grown up that, hey, activity is good for your body. Go have fun. It's don't make it into an exercise. Make it fun. And as you get older, you're gonna want to be naturally active. Because we were like, when we were in high school, our parents were like, kind of like hindered sports because they knew that, oh man, that means I'm going to have to drive into sports. This is going to be another job for me, which they're already busy, work 6 days a week working. So they almost like, even my own bike, I'd be like, yeah, I'm probably not going to wake up in the morning, go to practice. I won't go here because I set that up for myself. And now I've put myself in a state where like, I'm lazy. Like I live a sedentary lifestyle. Like if I could get exercise by me lying on a table and someone exercising it into me, that's what I would do because I don't enjoy it. But if you make it fun to say, take out the word exercise and say, let's go play basketball. Let's go do stuff. Just keep it at that. That's fun. But as soon as you say, let's go do exercise, you're like, that sounds like a chore. Like it has to be ingrained into the children at a young age to make it be fun 100%. Where they want to go and do that. If you don't do that, you're going to have the kids like us that grow up to be like, so I have to go to the gym like 2 days a week. And I've already now thought about this 30 different ways of how I'm going to get myself to the gym. I literally woke up today in the morning. I looked at my Visa bill again, and there's a charge every 2 weeks. It comes on. It's the fitness. And I was like, I haven't been to this gym in 1 year. I was like, do I cancel this or do I keep it going? But every time I've canceled it, I go on this thing of like, I need to join the gym again. And I'll go pay the initiation fee, the whole thing. And then the price you were paying before it goes up. So I'm like, okay, I go to the gym at my work 2 days a week. I'm like, okay, but do I cancel this? I'm like, if I cancel it, I'm going to somehow magically, we're going to move in a year. I'm going to need that gym and I'm going to go through this whole cycle again. So I'm like, okay, $25 a month. Just let it be, man. Just let it be. It's a charge and I'm not, but it hurts because you don't use it at all. Yeah. It's just sitting there being charged and it's been a year and now
that's why they love membership. Gyms love membership.
But I know the moment I cancel and I go to sign up, the rate will be higher because I got grandfathered in at this rate.
Yeah, and I agree, Al. You said something that is very, very important here when it comes to sports and with children. The biggest thing is I don't think we realize the value that sports brings. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're part of a team, you learn teamwork, collaboration, critical thinking, analytical skills. How are we going to score this goal? You learn strategy. You learn coping mechanisms. You learn to work through problems when together you get frustrated and you work as a team to overcome obstacles. And that is the beauty. There's no amount of school that can ever teach you those skills. So when you're a part of a team and you're part of something, you know that we got each other's back. Yeah. And that is so huge.
If you minus the exercise part of it, just the whole working as a team carries over into the workplace. Yeah. There's people you work with that you can probably tell like they're either friendly people or they've been in sports to understand how this works. And there's people that are just like, they think everything revolves around them just because they're good at what they do or they have a special skill set. And you're like, even if you have a special skill set, man, LeBron is not LeBron without the team. Yes. Okay, somebody has to pass him the ball. Okay, he can't be in 25 different places in 25 different times. Like it all works as a team, and that's what it gets ingrained in you. Where you're like, I see it.
No team is great without the coaches, the water boys, right? Like everyone, management, everything
in life is a team sport, right?
Absolutely.
You can't even have a job without somehow a team creating this atmosphere.
I don't know any team that has one player on it. I don't know that one athlete. Everybody has a purpose. Even in curling,
somebody's got to roll that thing down while someone sweeps, man.
That's what I mean. Everything is a team sport, and we always say this, right? What's our line here? The African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's what we're talking about here with the team. So with that said, friends and family, our YouTube family, our social media family, that was our Back to Basics School Edition. We hope we have prepared you for an exciting year of growth and excitement, prosperity, and the sky's the limit. And if there's anything that we missed out or you want to DM us, feel free. We would love to come back and table about this because I want to talk about the cool backpacks that we used to have back in the days. But we're up to time now. Yep. And with that said, we will come back again. So until next week, friends and family, please take care of yourself. Think about a win of the week. Don't forget to check us out on all of our social channels. Hit that subscribe button. We thank you so much for your ongoing love and support and allowing us into your hearts and your homes every week. We are so appreciative. Until next week, A Tribe Called Dhillon podcast is signing off. Bye for now, friends.
Bye-bye.
See ya.